attachments still have confidential on it. Oh, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Welcome, Amy. Thanks, and Linda.
Hey.
So we might get. Yeah. Have you got a PowerPoint? Oh, you haven't? No. Do you want to just run through what you want, and then we can go to questions?
You going to lead, or it's your report?
I'll take the report as read, but I would like to just make a couple of points. One is that there is a watermark across the Foundation's review of its strategic program. The watermark says it's confidential, but it's not. We forgot to take it off. I'd like to also draw your attention to towards the end where we talk about the annual report coming in December, and that the Foundation would like to come in and talk to you about the model that they have developed and for measuring value from their activities.
Yeah, so just to add some context to that, councillors, understanding community aspirations and then matching our program to that's incredibly important. We did that through our vital signs research, which we do on a 5-yearly basis with an annual dip. And then part of that is then understanding that we actually make a difference. Isn't it? We can throw money at things, but it doesn't mean that things change, as we well know. So to that end, we've been working with the Next Foundation and have developed an impact review framework, and an independent fellow, Rose Challies, has conducted a review of our work to date and the impact that it has had. We'll be releasing that alongside our annual report on the 15th of December. And I'd just really like to show you what that review looks like and what then will be the framework for reporting and measuring our impact and the indices attached to it going forward on an annualised basis, kicking off next FY.
Great.
Mm-hmm. And the final thing I would like to draw your attention to is a resolution that we're seeking to reduce the reporting requirements to two times per year, at the half year and the full year, on the basis that the council's funding contribution has reduced considerably.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy?
Do you want to run through anything?
You wanted to ask me about the provincial chambers.
Yeah.
Is this public or?
It is public.
Okay.
It was more just to get a steer on,
I'd be really keen to have a chat to you about that. We've got some thoughts around it, but it's hard. So, and you're all very familiar in this room with the complexities of it. It's conservation estate on an asset owned by the council, and with Heritage New Zealand involved, and that gives me nightmares, to be frank. So looking at a way forward, we've got some ideas around how we could add value there and assist because it's a travesty that beautiful building's in the state that it's in. So if we could have a conversation offline and have a wee think about that, I'd be very open to doing that. Yeah,
that's what Linda might be able to sort that out. I know it came up in conversation the other day with Andrew and I and Alistair Pearson, so that would be good to get an update on. We've got some thoughts around how we might be able to help and what the structure could be towards doing a staged repair so that we actually get the project moving rather than it just sitting there in decline. Okay, cool. Any questions? Yanni?
In the report, I don't know if it was a typo, but it mentioned that you were doing something around vaccination. And
yes.
Do you want to just talk us through what you're actually doing in that regard?
So we were approached by one of our corporate partners to ask how they could support increasing vaccination rates within the eastern suburbs of Greater Christchurch. And then we matched them into the Canterbury District Health Board with a generous gift to then fund additional outreach programs in the eastern suburbs, which has those funds have passed through to the DHB and that program's occurred.
So how did the groups in the east wanted to access it? Do they just go through the health board?
Yes, so the health board's been running programs. We just provided funding so they could increase their programs there because they had limited funds available to run their outreach programs. So you'd need to talk to the DHB in particular about what those programs were.
And as long as it was a program in the east, it was just tagged generally?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It went to supporting Aranui in particular and in helping grow awareness in those suburbs around the need for vaccination, was my understanding.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks. I mean, just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you to that donor. That was really, really
Meridian,
cool to see.
thank Meridian, yes.
See
Yeah.
them playing a part. Yeah. The other thing I was just interested in is kind of what's happening, like the fees for service. In terms of, like, I see one of the things is ECAN's 150k from ECAN for running the Green Philanthropy Fund. Is that like an annual? So that's an annual fee.
So we're just in discussions and final agreement processes with them to develop a fee for service program, which will be publicly announced in the new year as to how that's structured. Right. And the term of that agreement is in negotiations at the moment, but it certainly is a long-term project rather than a short-term one. And that's one of the reasons is developing and growing our fee for service program, supporting philanthropy is why we've been able to significantly decrease our commitment from the City Council.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Anything else? Jimmy?
Based on your table, 3 months ended 30 September 2021. The moon dinner, what's moon dinner? What kind of event?
The Moon Dinner was a high value fundraising event hosted was gifted to us by New World Durham Street to host with Julio, the chef from Littleton. He was going to host a dinner raising money for our lantern fund to purchase fresh lanterns. We've had to postpone it because of silly old COVID. So that will now be run in the new year. Yes. When we've set a date for the new Moon Festival. And so it's $450 a head. All of that money 100% goes towards the Lantern Fund. And we can only fit 20, so it's very tiny, but it was a generous gift from New World Durham.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Anything else? No? All right. And I'm assuming everyone's comfortable with reducing that to 2 times a year. It makes sense for me. So everyone happy? Yep. I'm happy to move it. Sarah's happy to second it. Any discussion? No. The only thing I was going to say was it was really good to see Aaron Perriam. Is it Aaron Perriam?
Yeah.
From Rata, right? That's been. Who was at Rata?
Yeah. So he's now the executive officer for our umbrella organisation, Community Foundations of New Zealand. So that means, and I'm on that board, so it means Greater Christchurch has got a double whammy sitting around that leadership table, which is exciting. Yeah. Yeah,
no, he's good. I worked with him at Rata, and he's pretty switched on. So anyway. We'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried. Thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Nice to see you all. If I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
It's not that far away, 6 weeks.